Hi everyone, good evening. We have a very special guest joining us from Brazil. Let's get together and welcome Hercules Goulart to Indian shore. Thank you, Hercules, to be giving us your time and being part of this special AR creator series. Just to set context up, Hercules is a programmer and educator in the field of AR. He has in the past accumulated millions of views on his Spark AR videos. He works for various brands and has created hundred of effects for them, for primarily for marketing campaign and education campaign. And needless to say, he's one of the top AR creator in the country that he is in Brazil, and actually works for the biggest of the brands there in Brazil. We've gotten hold of his precious time today to talk to him about his AR journey, also learn from him, and also understand the effect that has worked well for him in the past. He had created a Batman game which worked like immensely popular games back there in Brazil. So we will understand from him on why and how did he created that, what were the capabilities that were used, and what was the thought process behind it. A welcome Hercules to India. Thank you so much for your time. Over to you. The stage is yours.
Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Rohit, for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, Rohit has introduced me. I have been developing games and effects for brands, and I want to share some tips also, and also what is my creation process. I'm going to show you my Batman game. It's a game that I like a lot. It took a lot of time to create that, and I really enjoyed these two. And I'm going to show you guys how everything works. So let's go. I'm going to share you. Yeah, my name is Hercules Goulart. I'm an AR developer. You can find my profile right here. And I want to show you guys some of my portfolio as well. So you can see some of the works that I have been working, some of the brands that I have been working with. So recently we have released this Jeep game. It's for the brand, and it's a really cool game. So you have to jump from the obstacles and score. We have some Kit Kat filters, Leite Moça, uh, Hello Kit, and other really cool effects. And we have the Batman game right here. That's the one that we are going to talk about. Yeah, there's a lot of effects. I have created these labs, like a gallery of some of my effects that I can show to my clients. Another game, I think this one were my first game. It's like Donkey Kong. So yeah, I have creating a lot of games. That's the kind of thing that I really like to do. Okay, so I'm going to divide this presentation in three uh, mainly things. The first one is tips for new creators. That's something that I think it's really important because this tip was given to me when I started and was something that really helped me to become a better developer. And creation process, I'm going to show you guys how we do these things here in my company, even for us and for brands. And the third one, it's building my effect. But today we are going just to show how my effect was built, right? So first one, tips for new creators. My most important tip is find your area of interest. I have seen so many people struggling trying to learn things that they don't like to do, and probably this is the biggest mistake new creators do, because if you are a gamer, you're probably going to like to build games. But if you are a makeup artist of, or if you like to wear makeup, you're probably going to like much more to create this kind of effects. But if you like 3D, you can build some really cool 3D. And I have talked with a hundred of creators this year, and all of this, yeah, all of them who have success, they always tell me the same thing. You have to do what you like to do. So if you're a gamer, you're probably going to spend much more time developing games than if you were working with makeup. So if you're a makeup artist, you're going to like much more to develop a makeup than a game. So you spend much more money, you do something much better, with much better quality, and you want to improve it much more than if you're building a game. So that's my tip. I know that's may seems obviously, but I don't think so. For I have seen so much people trying to learn something that they don't want to learn and struggling, or even uh, don't wanting to build effects anymore. So yeah, now we can talk about our creation process. I always have two terms on this subject. First, what are the client goals? So if you have a client that wants to achieve more people, you need a simple effect, something that people will engage, something not showing a lot of branding stuff like a logo or things like that, but uh, it's important that it's a more simple effect, like uh, some funny text, or a funny effect or something like that, something that can go viral, and you can you can find more people, you can have more impressions. But if the brand want to show their new car, for example, you can create something personalized, and just the people that really like cars or really like the brand are going to use this effect. This will not have so much impression, but will do much better the work that if you were working like with something that you want to get impressions. So you can achieve much more people with this setting these goals first, and you can uh, achieve what are the client's expectations as well. And the second one is describing the effect. And that's what I'm going to do right now, so you can understand better what I'm saying. And about this Batman game, I divided it uh, in three mainly 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 topics. The first one was the initial scene, initial scene. Then we have the game, and after that we have the final screen. Okay. Now, what I wanted on the initial scene, I wanted a cinematic effect, and then in the game I wanted to create a ship game, ship shooter game, and on the final screen I want to display my score and uh, people's face. Something that we have find it's really important for the users is to have their face or something that is related to them on the effect since the beginning. So in this cinematic effect, the first thing that I think it's important is to show the user's face. So user's face. So that's the start. We always starting showing the user's face. And after that, we are going to rotate and showing everything around and the ship as well. So user's face shows the bat signal. After that, we ship arrives, and after that, ship leaves. Leaves. Yeah, and then we start the game. For the game, I was thinking about create something that I could show multiple kind of games. So I would like to show the 2D game and 3D game. So I was thinking about starting on 2D and after some seconds go to 3D. Yeah, so I'm going to start on 2D and then go to 3D. Let me think what else. Cinematic effect shows the bat signal. Ship arrives, ship leaves. Oh, Batman. But touch the ship. Yeah, perfect. Now you have your roadmap for this effect. That's something that you can share with your client. So if he wants to know what you're going to do, this is probably something that is really nice, a roadmap. So you can uh, he can say to you if everything is okay, if you have to change anything, if he don't like anything. So it's much easier to do this way. You share with your client before you start creating because it will gain you so much time. Okay. Yeah. Now we already have our roadmap and we can start building our FX. So, but today we're not going to build. We're going just to have a teardown of my effect. So one thing that I was thinking is that I was using script, but just for the score. So I decided to take the script and use just patch editor. The first thing is I'm going to show how is my effect. I have deactivated the speakers, but I'm going to activate so you can listen what are the sounds too. I'm going to hit play right now. And that's the final screen. I have divided this effect in some takes, and the final when the effect is finalized, we are going to have like 60 seconds. Yeah, that's the maximum that you can record when pressing the record button. So that's why we need this countdown of the game. We can't make it infinite. So yeah, right here in my scene, you can see that we are using a 360 image. So if I go to Batman, Let me restart the scene, turn it off, restart again. So yeah, now we have our Batman. And if we rotate, you can see that we have a 360 image. So this allows me to rotate Batman and show the city around and everything else. And right here, I have this bat signal image. You can check right here on my scene that I have some animations. Inside these animations, it is a new object, and I have added the takes. So take one, take two, take three. It's everything right here. After that, I have my game, and after that, I have my final and my speakers right here. So this is something that I always try to do is to organize, so it's much easier to understand big projects when you are working with other people and when you have to make some change after some time and you don't remember everything that's inside your project. So in my take one, I have the Batman. Everything that I'm using here is free. So all the assets, the Batman, the ship, and everything else were free from the asset library. So if you go to the 3D objects and type Batman, you're going to find this exactly Batman. And if you search Batwing, you're going to find that ship as well. So everything was free, right? Inside of the Batman, I'm using a face mesh to add people's face. So if I turn it off, guess that's nothing appearing. And I put it on, the face mesh is right here. And if I change something that was really important to create this effect is to use the material of the face as a standard. It makes the color a little bit different, but if you don't use standard, the lightnings the lightning will not appear on the face. So it's important to use this way to make sure that the lightning is shining the face as well. Now we have the higher sphere, that's the 360. So if I deactivate it, you can see the difference. And we have our canvas with the lightnings. If I click and press F, you can see that they are always appearing and changing the position as well. And I have this point light, it's close to the face. I'm animating it, so the intensity is going to 0 to 100. And this make the lightning effects like it's really shining. And after that, we have the take two. So I'm going to press the play button. This is take one. Now the take two starts. We have this black screen to turn everything off and turn the take two things on. And after that, I have my Batman right here. He's like flying to waiting for the ship to arrive and then he jumping. So if I press play, my ship arrives. I have this animation to open the cockpit door. And after that, Batman jumping. The ship closed the door. One important thing, guys, this Batman in specific, he don't have bones, so we can't move his arms or his legs or his neck. I really like the textures, so that's why I'm using him. But if you had like a Batman with a neck, with bones on the neck, you could movement the head to the sides as well. After that, we go to the other take, the the ship leaves, and after that we go to the game. So right here in this part of the game, we are using the 2D mode. We have these exit balls that you have to destroy, and when you destroy them, you get score. Also, we have this countdown of the time. So when the time is over, you're going to the final screen, the game over screen. And in the middle of the time, you're going to change to 3D mode. So you can see that we are using the 2D mode. And after that, we're going to change to the 3D mode. Yeah, now we are on 3D mode. All the movement are based on the head rotation and head position. And after the time is over, you go to this game over or this end screen. Now let's see some patch editor to understand a little bit. Something important is when I created this effect, we didn't have some of the new features that are really important for me right now. We didn't have the keyframe. The keyframe is basically a better way to do animations. You don't need to use transition, but you can personalize much more than a transition can do. So you can define an animation really, really well with a lot of detail. And the keyframe is very important today, but at this time, we didn't have the keyframe. Another thing that's really important for me, it's sender and receiver patch, sender and receiver. This is important because you don't need to create all of these spider web that I'm using right here. You can organize much better your code if you're using send and receiver. I think that's another thing that I would like to compare with these new versions, but yeah, I'm not remembering right now. When I remember, I'll tell you guys too. So we can check our patch editor right now. So right here, I have the texture spheres. I'm using this image right here. No, not this one. Yeah, this image right here this is the 360 image. I'm using only one texture because I didn't have much space after the ship and Batman and anything else. Right here I have the instructions and they start all. I use the video recording to start everything. And after that we have the takes. So right here I have the take one. I'm using some delays to activate other things when I want them to be activated. Lightning, sound, and animation. So as I told you guys, I have this point light. We are always changing this canvas position of the lightning and animating this lightning to make the impression that Batman is getting this lightning on his face. This is the lightning material. I need to rotate it because I'm using some sprite sheets. I'm not sure if you're familiar with sprite sheets. Sprite sheets are like this, so I can open the texture to show. Yeah, this is this is a sprite sheet. So you have this animation on the same image, and you have to like cut this part and go animating one image per time. So I have this sprite sheet type, grid, rows, columns, and the quantity of sprites, and I can animate them. And I'm rotating a little bit to fit the way I want. After that, I have these animations to make the position of the Batman, like the rotation, uh, and the position and rotation of Batman. And now I'm turning on this canvas. And after that, we turn the take one off and start the take two. We have this vignette effect, like the screen turns black, so you can deactivate some things and activate other things. Yeah, we have this lightning movement, so the lightning is always on a different position. So you can check this right here. So the lightning is here, so it's always changing its position based on this random position right here. Explosion vanishes. Yeah, it's not, this is for the game. It's not important right now. After that, I have the take two, the vignette and take two. It animates the ship, open the cockpit door, put the Batman inside the ship, and then we we turn off this take two visibility, and I have this loop animation that's like creating an effect on the ship, like shaking the ship a little bit. So you can see that the ship is shaking a little bit to make it more realistic. And after that, I have this other animation of the Batman scene tree. Right here's the take tree. Yeah, it's a lot of patch because there's so much things going on at the same time. Right here, I'm changing the ship position. It makes this effect of the ship leaving. It turns off the Batman scene. And we have this canvas visibility, and we start the game visibility right here. Right here. So after this take, we turn on the game. We start the game right here. So I have this start game. I have the rain volume. So when the game starts, the volume of the rain, it's a little bit louder. This is the ship's arriving sound and ship leave sound. So something that I was thinking is when the ship arrives, the noise should be louder, and when it's far, it uh should be a little bit slower. Or so I created this animation that changed the value of the noise of the ship, so it goes from 0 to 0.5. And after that, when the ship leaves, it make the opposite transition. I have this during game sound. Ship on game movement. Yeah, right here I have two movements. One of is a rotation of the ship. So something that I think it's really natural. It's when the ship is turning. The ship have this rotation of his axis. I think this would be look cooler, so I did it. And then I have the other position, the ship position, based on the face position. So you can move the ship based on your face position. And I have this canvas position as well. Uh, I'm using this because at the time I created this effect, we couldn't use static text. Right now it's allowed, so we don't need to worry about this anymore. But at the time, it was a problem. Right here, I have the lightning bullet. So when I started shooting, let me show game, ship. Yeah, I have the bullets. It's not appearing right now because we are not on the game part yet. But I'm going to pause and show. Yeah, this is my bullet 1 and bullet 2. These bullets are using a face mesh texture. So it's a face mesh mask texture to simulate this texture. And on the top of the bullet, I'm using another sprite sheet. It's this fire sprite sheet right here. So to make the sprite sheet, animation, this is being used on the propellant of the ship as well. So I'm using two, one for this angle and one for this angle. So it makes a really cool effect. And they are inside of the ship, so it move with the ship. We have these explosions. They movement with the higher sphere. These higher spheres are acid balls, so when you destroy it, you get a score. I'm using a Joker texture right here. And after that, we have our, right here. We are going to show that it's a 2D game. The balls are spinning, the exit balls are spinning. And here it's when we turn this to a 3D game. So it's just a rotation. I'm just rotating the game and it turns to a 3D. After that, we have the spawn sphere Joker. We are using just two spheres. We don't need to create a lot of objects to make this, so it's much easier to use 2 or 3 objects and always keeping them respawning. So this is the respawn system. After it gets heated, the visibility is turned off and the explosion appears. And after that, we randomize the position of the x-axis and it appears in another position. And right here, we have the one of the most important things. It's the collision detector. So I'm using just one bullet because the two bullets are very close to each other. So I'm using just one to detect the collision. And I'm using the two spheres to detect the collision between them. Right here is the collision check. The collision, you need to check the x-axis of the bullet and the x-axis of the higher sphere. So I'm collecting the axis of this, the x of these two. And right here, I'm collecting the y-axis of these two objects. So I'll check if they are on the same position. I have this tolerance right here. So I can define how much I want this to be easy, the collision. So if this value is greater than this, it's going to be easier to collide. But if this value is less than this is going to be harder to collide. And after that, I'm checking if they are at the same position. If they are, this is going to be activated. And I'm using another end right here and another end right here. These ones will check if the game is already started. So if the game it's not started yet, it's not going to collide. And this one detects if the game it's not over. So when the game is over as well, will not detect the collision and will not increase our score. This could be a really big problem because if the game is over and we keep getting points, you just need to wait and achieve the higher score, right? And right here, I have this switch to turn off my higher sphere, my acid balls when they are heated. And after that, we have our score. One important tip when you are creating this kind of game is to create one counter for each object. Because sometimes you hit both of them at the same time and it won't count 2 times if you're using just one counter because maybe they are going to use the same pulse. So to make sure you are scoring correct, it's important to have one counter to each object. And after that, one of the most cool things that they have add to these Spark AR updates is the true string patch. Basically, guys, we can transform a number into a text. So right here we have a number, and we want to add this to a text, text 2D text or 3D text. If I add this value, it's going to return an error. But if I use the true string, it will transform my number into a text, and I can use it easily. Before, we had to use a script to do that, so we don't need this anymore. It's much easier to use true string, and it's really cool, this feature. After that, we have the game over scene. So we turn off all of the items of the game. We turn on the final, the 2D text of the game over, and everything else. And we hit the play on this 3D game rotation. This is the game over rotation that's happened after the game is over. So we'll see right now, game is over. We have this rotation, and we have this zoom based on this animation right here. Other thing that's important to talk is the textures. The textures were really big, and I was with more than 4 MB, and that's the limit. Right now, I'm using 3.65 MB because of the compression. So the compression is really important to make sure that your textures will fit inside your project. And the best way to compress for me is to use the compression as manual and the method as best. This guarantee that you're going to have the lowest file size, but will take much more time to compress than the other type of compressions. But that's the best for me, and I'm always using this one. So you have to set this for the iOS, Android, and older Android as well. Uh, yeah, other important things. I'm using audio as well. So I have the motor jet sound, the thunder sound, the explosion sound as well. We have this propellant animation. This is based on this fire texture that I show you. This texture right here. So I'm using to the propellant of the ship as well. You can show it again. Yeah. So I'm using the propellant texture to create this blue effect, and I'm using another one to the fire effect. So it creates a really cool. Yeah, I think you guys can see. Yeah, this is how it works. And I think that's it, guys. I have a lot of materials, so I try to use uh, just a few, but it was a lot of things going on, so I had to use a lot of materials as well. Yeah, I think that's it.
This was awesome, Hercules. I think, and the ease that you had while creating it is looks like you created it in a record time of sorts. How much time did it took for you to create something like this?
Well, I think it took like 1 week or more than that. It was a lot of work because sometimes you create something and you don't like it, and you okay, I'm going to redo this. I don't want this to look this way. So yeah, it took like 1 week or more than that. But for me, it's pretty common when you are creating a game because before I worked with game development, and some projects took like 2 months, 3 months. We have worked in a project that took like 6 months to be done. So for me, 1 week is pretty okay.
No, absolutely. I think it's like recording a Marvel movie in about shortest possible time. I mean, it was plain awesome, and the clarity that it had was fantastic. So yeah, I mean, I'm nobody to say kudos to you, but amazing work.
Thank you.
I had one or two questions, Hercules. I saw your profile, etc. You've been working on AR for a while now. I just want you to touch upon how did your journey started? Where did that kick to learn AR came from?
Yeah, I used to work with other things, and one time a friend stayed like 1 week at my house or 1 month, I'm not sure. And I watched him doing some games. It was really nice to me, and I was okay. I want to do that too. I like to play games, so I probably going to like to create games as well. So that was the when I started learning about coding, and I bought a course on the internet. I didn't go to the college. I learned it from the internet. So I started studying, watching YouTube videos, uh, buying courses from platforms that were cheap. And I think it was 2017 when I started. In 2018, I started working with Unity and game development in C Sharp. After that, I moved to virtual reality and augmented reality. So we started building some educational projects for schools, churches, and things like that. And after that, I have seen at the first time Spark AR. This was crazy for me because we it was so expensive to have a 3D uh, augmented reality app. It was so expensive that the most of the companies couldn't afford it. So when the Spark AR appears, it was a really nice chance to make it more popular, and anyone could have one effect of augmented reality. And you had this have this platform with 7 billion of people. Sorry, 1 billion of people on the Instagram, and it was a really nice opportunity to start learning and start building augmented reality for brands using this Spark AR Instagram Facebook thing. And after that, I started creating some tutorials as well, but just in Portuguese. And I think I have recorded more than 300 tutorials so far. So it has been a long journey on this path. And yeah, I think that's it. Now I'm Spark AR certified from Meta, and I have recorded some classes for the official Spark AR too. So it was really cool for me. And yeah, I think that's it.
I mean, plain awesome. So you learned it on your own, but I believe, and with the tutorials that you did, and everyone else has also contributed to that growth. Uh, do you think the developers, current lot of developers have it easy to learn Spark AR? Have the competition increased? Have you felt any change in last 3 4 years?
Yeah, I don't think it's easy, but in the past years it was much harder because people don't have enough content in their native languages. But right now we have so much content in all language. So we have so much content in Portuguese. We have so much content in English. I think we have a lot of content in India too. I'm not sure, but I think I have seen so much tutorials about this in India as well. We have so much content in Russia, in Chinese, and I think it's really cool. So today is much easier to learn because you have all of this content. You have the content from the official meta. So it's still hard to understand these concepts, especially when you work with logic, like game logic or things like that. but people have much more information right now, and if they want, they can study and learn for sure by the on the can learn by themselves.
No, we clearly see someone on the screen with me who has learned himself, and the success that you're getting. I mean, well deserved, much deserved. Uh, and India is just about now starting to understand with the kind of numbers that we have. The AR tech will only grow from here, and we really hope creators like you and others make a trip to India soon to interact with brands and developers in a physical environment. Thank you, Hercules, for your time today. We'll look forward to interact with you more often than this.
Thank you so much, guys. It was a pleasure to be here. It was really nice. If you guys like it, you can add me on Instagram, can follow me there, ask me anything if you have any questions. It would be a pleasure to talk with you guys.
Absolutely. We'll have all the questions directed to you right away then.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hercules. God bless. Bye.